What's up, folks? And this is Semi-Pro Football. So what is Semi-Pro Football? You might be asking yourself. Well, I'll explain it to you like this. After high school, you only have so many options that you can do. Because you can go to college and play, sure thing. But then there is this big in-between purgatory-like stage between college and the pros. Because there's really no set minor league system like there is in baseball, like there is in hockey, like there even is in the NBA. They got the G League, used to be called the D League now. In football, it's kind of up for grabs. But semi-pro is that in-between. Semi-pro is that place that some people choose to extend their career, and some people actually, they get a start in semi-pro. And some people, maybe they did get drafted. Maybe they were an undrafted free agent. Maybe they were in the arena leagues. Maybe they just have a major chip on their shoulder because they got cut, or because they got injured, or because some coach didn't like them. Whatever their story is, semi-pro might be that stepping stone place for them to, get some film on themselves so that they can hopefully, that is the goal, get to that next level, get to the pros, get to somebody where you're consistently getting paid. When you sign on to playing for a team with semi-pro football, you got to sign a contract, first and foremost. You got to make sure you read that daggone thing, because you don't know what kind of craziness they're going to hide in there. But each team is different. Not all teams are created equal. Like, for example, this team I'm on, the Canton Pit Bulls, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're trying to bring some glory to that town, because you know what? That's where football is. Canton, Ohio is football. And you know what? This is a really good team. The owner puts a lot of his own money into the team and to advertising. I mean, we got 4 different jerseys, 4 different pant combinations, and we got socks, and we have a beautiful stadium to play in. And that's not always the case with semi-pro football. It's not always the case. Most teams, that you have a team fee that you gotta pay. And if anybody's ever played like summer league softball, you already know what a team fee kind of deal is. Because yeah, you get your jerseys and you get to be a part of on the team, and you play your schedule and you try to go win the championship. But that team fee that you pay is a portion that is all tied together into your actual team fee, like for the league. So the league requires your team to pay X amount of money, and then y'all can participate in the league as a team. Does that make sense to you? So everybody normally, I've been on a team before that doesn't have a league fee, or doesn't have a player fee. So that's cool. If the owner can foot that bill, then that's sweet. Some owners literally, like, they say everybody has like a $90 team fee or a $200 team fee, whatever the team fee is. You get your jerseys, and then if you don't get suspended through the year and you're a good teammate, blah blah blah, you get your money back at the end of the year. I've been on teams that do that too. With semi-pro football, realize that you're putting in a lot of your own time, a lot of your own efforts into being great, into being good, because like I said, all teams aren't created equal. Like my team right now, we have a full coaching staff. We are talking football and watching film through the week, and we're preparing through the week for the games that are on Saturdays. A lot of teams don't practice every single day. There's teams that practice 3 times a week. There's teams that practice 0, show up for the games early, prepare a little bit, and then play the games. It's literally a whole different type of football when you really think about it, because in college, you're practicing every day leading up to the games. You got meetings, you do this, you do that, like your life is very organized. But semi-pro, I mean, dudes gotta work. Dudes got other jobs other than football. They got a family. People are literally putting football first in some regard, but at the same time, that is scheduled to change if other things get in the way, if you get married, if you have a baby, if you get injured, if you know, wife stuff, kid stuff, family stuff, like family always comes first in semi-pro, and we are a family in semi-pro football, but at the same time, it's not your number one income source, not at all. And we're gonna get into the income in a whole nother video. I'll make that whole video basically be just that. But just know that if you do become lucky enough to get on a team or a league that actually pays you something, which is not the norm, mind you. Most semi-pro football players in this country, in the United States, they're playing for free. They might get a gas card or something, but for the most part, and there might be some people that are getting paid under the table, but for the most part, people are getting paid for free. So don't think that you're gonna go into semi-pro and make millions of dollars or make thousands of dollars. That's not a thing. It's just not a thing. So let's just dispel that myth and all those thoughts out of your head right now. This is something that you're trying to do to either step into the light so that you can get into the arena leagues, that you can get into Canada, that you can get in front of NFL scouts, like at a regional combine or something like that, or you're literally just trying to extend your career because you love football and you played college, or maybe you just played in high school and you see your boys playing and you want to play too. Maybe there's a team in your hometown and you want to rep your hometown colors, and y'all want to go on and win that championship. Because the cool thing is, when you play semi-pro football, if you can go on and win your league championship, it's almost like in college. You know, there's like the SEC and there's the Big Ten. Those are like those two big conferences. I guess the ACC'd be rocking out too, like Clemson and stuff, but there's conferences, which is basically your league. I'm personally in the PAFL, the Premier Athletic Football League. Yep, PAFL. And there's 20 some odd teams in tier 2, and there's 3 different tiers. So there's like a top tiered team, which would be like, you know, let's just say AAA in baseball, one step away from the pros. There's tier 2, which is like right there, like in that intermediate, like those teams that are primed and ready to go to tier 1, or those teams that are like trying to find themselves, and you know, they're pretty organized, but they're just not as good yet to be in one of the elite teams in tier 1. Then there's like tier 3 down here, which is like AAA. Tier 2 is like AA. That's just how it is in my league. There's other leagues out there that have a completely different infrastructure, but that's just how the PAFL is over here in this Midwest. And we have teams from Michigan and Indiana and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Western New York, even some West Virginia. And we travel to each other's place and play there. Some teams have turf, some teams have grass, some teams you'll play in a field and they literally don't even have a field goal post. Like that's real. I've been there. Some teams will not even have the lines like lined up, and they'll have like wavy lines on the field. And some teams have like just premier like facilities and locker rooms and water people, and you know, like chain marker guys and gals that will do it. Some teams will have all 9 yards. They'll have cheerleaders, they'll have dance teams, they'll have smoke, they'll have those big tunnels that they come out of, and like it's a whole show, because literally it's for the community. And they, you know, you got to make the money because they rent these stadiums out. Some places get connections, and some people are like, yeah, you can play here, just don't screw it up. It's very rare. Most of these owners in semi-pro football, they have to rent out these stadiums. They have to rent out these stadiums, so everybody that comes in, they're collecting that money. You know, they're collecting that money from concession stands. They're collecting that money from any merchandise bought that day. So, you know, they want to get people in there that's going to take care of that facility so that they can continually play there. Or in some places, that's why some people play in a field or in a park and just line the fields, because they can't afford that, like that rent for that day. So semi-pro football is a little obviously different than college football or pro football, because you know, there's like a set place you're playing, there's a set locker room. If you're going on an away game, sometimes you have no idea what you're about to get yourself into, because you might be driving there in your own car because your team might not be able to afford a bus. Thankfully, Canton Pit Bulls, thank you Chuck, like we have a bus so that we can travel together as a team and that we can ride in style comfortably and get ready in a locker room normally and on an away game, and you know what, and we can feel good. And when we have our home game, man, our field's so nice, and man, our locker rooms are so nice, and our jerseys and our coaches, everything is so good. I've been on bottom barrel teams where you don't have the luxury of any of that, you know. Like I've been on a team before where you had to drive hour and a half, 2 hours, if not 4 hours, all the way from like Ohio all the way up to Buffalo, New York. You have 14 guys and you got to get dressed right there as soon as you get out of your car, because kickoff is about to be in 10 minutes because the coach told you the wrong time for the game, and then you got in and you got to play, and then you're going to get destroyed because you only got 14 guys. I've been on teams like that before. So you just gotta do your research and know what you're getting yourself into, because semi-pro football is a whole different monster than anything you've probably ever played before. But I can tell you this, and we're gonna make a whole video on this as well. You can advance yourself in semi-pro football. You can increase your following per se, I guess you can. I mean, the more buzz you get around you, the easier it is to have doors open to get into like tryouts for one of the levels of Arena League football. And then once you get your foot in the door with a team where you're actually making some consistent dough, I mean, it's all on you, and it literally is all on you. Nobody's making you work out, nobody's making you practice, nobody's making you do anything, because everybody knows you have a family, and everybody knows you got stuff to do. But the thing about semi-pro football is, if you work hard enough and you're young enough and you got that talent, you can advance yourself, and you could be playing in arena leagues. You could play in NFL. You could play over in Europe, and it's all on you. But that is semi-pro football as an introduction as a whole. I hope that you enjoy the series of videos that are going to be up and coming, where I'm going to explain things like what is a game day like, how much you get paid, how can you get paid, ways that you can make money, things like that. A whole video focused on money and just explaining things that, you know, you probably have no idea when it comes to semi-pro football unless you are actually playing or you've been around it in some way, shape, or form. But please, if I missed anything from this introduction, drop that down in the comment section below so that I can know to talk about that later on, because I want to be very thorough, and I want this to be one of those things that semi-pro football players from all over this country can just, you know, come together and be like, yeah, I don't even need to answer this question because Keith has the question already answered. Here, watch this video, because I guarantee you I get asked all these things I'm going to address in this series a million times. So I'm just gonna be like, nah, I ain't gonna talk to you. Just watch this video. Just watch it and have a good day. But I hope you love this, y'all. Drop a like, drop a sub. Don't forget to show your boy some love. And until the next one, peace.